Bro, this don't say gay thing is basically Jussie Smollett. No, for real. Like, they've made up a problem in their own minds, and now they're complaining about a problem they made up. And Republicans are complaining about how the problem they made up is actually a good thing. And I'm like, what is going on? So, like, I'm seeing Ben Shapiro tweet at them, and he's like, why are you trying to indoctrinate kids? This bill stops that. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Right.
It's like the left made it up, complained about it, and then the right argued it was a good thing, but none of it is true.
they got baited into defending it essentially.
Yep.
No, that was one of those.
It's the don't say straight bill, by the way.
That was the one as soon as I saw it was kind of like, whatever you guys are saying, it's not that. I go, what's actually going on here? Everyone seems to be lying.
Yeah.
But,
it's so I've called it the anti-grooming bill as kind of a point. And I say that to as a point to counter the Democrats calling it "Don't Say Gay."
No, I know what you mean, but it is I was
gonna say the better point is call it "Don't Say Straight." Yeah. There's literally no difference between straight and gay when the context is identity or orientation. So if the bill restricts classroom discussions from preschool to 3rd grade on orientation, then you can't say straight.
What about "Don't secretly talk about sex with students" bill? It
doesn't stop that. That's the thing it actually encourages. This is the craziest thing. The bill encourages teachers to secretly talk to children about these things.
I thought that it was banning them from secretly talking to children.
No, you are incorrect.
Man, it sucks to have kids.
What?
Right now.
You're saying it's like the Catholic Church being like, any sex talk's got to be one-on-one.
The bill restricts classroom discussions from preschool to 3rd grade on gender identity or orientation. That's not the bulk of the bill. Like the actual bulk of the bill is parents must be informed about medical issues involving their children. That's it. So it's like a kid who stubs his toe. Tell the parents the kid got hurt.
Let's say that you are the person who would be on the non-Republican side, super in favor of kids. Is there anyone arguing that sex needs to be taught to JK?
Yes.
Like, is that
100%?
So how old are you when you're JK?
Like 6, 5?
So they're saying 5-year-olds need to be like, here's what anal sex
No.
looks like.
It's 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Preschool is 4 years old, and 3rd grade goes up to 8-year-olds.
Where's that? Where are they arguing that should happen?
So the issue is that this is why I said
like anyone legitimately is there or
CNN,
is this not like fringe bloggers, or is this
CNN
legitimate?
runs the story about Kate McKinnon, I think her name is, on SNL.
Oh yeah.
And she does a bit where she's first pretending that it's like you can't insult someone by calling them gay, and then she realizes what it actually is. But CNN shows the bill would restrict discussions of gender identity and orientation in preschool through 3rd grade over Kate McKinnon talking about it. So I'm like, do we sit here and just assume that the people who go on CNN, the people who watch CNN, aren't aware of what the bill is and genuinely think it's stopping kids from talking about orientation? Or do we assume, based on CNN accurately reporting it, they know and they're trying to teach 4-year-olds about sexual activities?
Yeah, because you're I see what your point is. You go, I mean, if you're lying, at least you're just up to your old tricks. But if you're not lying,
or
it's
dumb.
Worse, or whatever. Right?
So my thing is,
it's also just strange where you go, I get I think that people just, they leave any sort of thought when they go, this is what our team thinks, and you go, really? You want to, like, what grown adult really wants to take someone else's kid and be like, let me tell you about sex when they're 4?
But the bill.
I don't.
Hold on,
my
my friends. The bill doesn't stop this. A teacher, a janitor, a school district employee can walk.
Well, the janitor should be teaching you.
I learned all about sex from my janitor.
Because the bill says school district employee. Yeah. They can walk up to a group of 10 kids and say, kids, I'd like to talk to you about why you're trans. And the bill doesn't stop that. What the bill stops is that if they're in the classroom for a specific classroom discussion.
Well, does it encourage that though? It doesn't have anything to do with that. You're saying they're allowed to have one-on-ones, but they can't be teaching in a group setting.
They are allowed in group settings. They're not allowed in classroom settings.
They're not allowed in classroom settings.
Specifically means the bell rings, it's 9 a.m., the teacher walks in and says, everybody turn to page 17 and we're going to learn about oral.
Right.
They can't do that. They can, after class, walk
Take
up
them
to
the woods and show them the...
I don't know about all that, but they can. So let's say there's a group of kids and they're talking about this stuff. The teacher can hear it and walk over and say, ask me anything you want and we'll talk all about it. They don't got to tell the parents. All of that is still acceptable and fine as far as our Republicans are concerned.
I don't know, because they're still in a classroom setting. Even if it's after
classroom discussions.
Even if it's like after school, if it's in the classroom.
It's essentially about the curriculum is what the argument's about, right?
Right. So one-on-one is in the clear. There may be some questions about with more than one person, But nothing is stopping a teacher from having let's just go to that point. A teacher can walk up to a student who's 4 years old by themselves, pull them out of the classroom,
Yo,
and
you
say,
gay or nah?
Right. Yeah. And but there's one thing the bill does. They can't say, don't tell your parents. They can't do that. So they can still have private discussions about this stuff. They can say literally nothing, but if they say, don't tell your parents, now they're crossing the line. They're
Like if
breaking
the
the law.
teacher says don't tell your parents?
Yeah.
And then what's the
what about
trans
it should be
component?
how they say don't tell your parents. It could be like, hey, don't
They
tell
can't
your
dis-
parents.
they can't
you better
dissuade.
not tell your parents.
Well, they can't discourage or dissuade students from talking to their parents about medical issues. So this is the crazy thing about the bill, and we talked about it for like 3 days now, is that if a kid slips on vomit and breaks his arm, the teacher might go up to him and be like, we're going to get sued because that's our fault. And they go to the kid and they say, don't tell your parents how that happened. Just say you were playing outside.
Yeah, don't tell them that I had a couple extra today in class.
No, for real. And barfed.
Let
Because
them loose a little.
So, I mean, obviously, drinking at school will be illegal for the teacher. But let's say a kid trips on something, it's a school's fault. And the school just comes up to them and knows the kid's not smart enough to address the issue and says, don't tell your parents. The kid goes home with a broken arm. They call the parents, oh, he was playing outside. The kid doesn't tell his parents because the teachers told him not to.
No,
now the insurance, now the insurance, like, we're not covering it. And the school's like, it's not our fault. And now this poor middle-class family is being put out.